Happy NBA Draft Eve, Sixer fans. I am here to give my tier list of who I want the Sixers to draft, and I'm going to put the tier list up in a minute, but real quickly, just want to do an overview of the 22nd pick and how we got here. Of course, it's the Rockets pick that we got from the absolutely mind-numbing Jared McCain trade, which has already proven to be a disaster, and the only way this trade can be salvaged or flipped back into the Sixers' favor is what we do with this pick. And thankfully, it sounds like the Sixers have a lot of their scouting department intact from the previous regime, which was a strength with the Daryl Morey front office. And Mike Ganzi, of course, will put his own spin on things, I'm sure. And I liked his draft picks in Cleveland generally. But this 22nd pick is very important for a number of reasons. And usually late round picks, I imagine, don't have that much importance. But given where the Sixers are, given the two timelines thing they have accidentally or not accidentally put themselves in, the bridge between the next era and the previous era, and what to do, who to build around, etc. This pick is pretty important. And this is going to be a deep draft before the next couple of drafts coming up, which are expected to be really bad. And I had a lot of fun actually looking over this 2026 draft class. I did a big board that I released on my main channel, the Sly Hooper YouTube channel. I will put the link to that video in the description below. But here is my tier list. You will see the prospects' faces in each of the tiers. And as you can see up on the screen, the tiers are only guys I would ever consider trading up for in the draft, run to the podium, meaning if the player that I really like fell to the Sixers at 22, fucking sprint to the podium to submit that draft selection. A little bit below run to the podium, but still pretty exciting. I got the oh hell yeah tier, which means it's a player that I'm still really excited about. Then we have the very, very intrigued, but also very, very scared tier, which are players that I like, players that have upside, but players that I could also see go bust really quickly or not be able to figure out their role on this specific Sixer team, and then they move on to another team and succeed, which is another fear, obviously. Then we got the oh, neat tier, which is players that I like, but obviously I'm not as excited about them as I am the players above this tier. Then we got the it's fine, like it's middle of the road. You could see a role for them on the team eventually, but nothing to be too excited about. Then I got the would trade seconds to pick again, meaning I would trade second round picks to get back into the back end of the first round to pick these players if they last that long. And then we got the hell not tier. The tier of players where I will vomit if the Sixers draft them. First up, we got the only guys I'd ever consider trading up for tier. I think the Sixers' biggest need, or most pressing need, we have a lot of needs. I think the Sixers' biggest need, though, is finding that starting four in the starting lineup. Someone that's versatile, someone that could defend, someone that could rebound. Please, for the love of God, fucking rebound. But you just get the sense that these type of players are going to go well before the Sixers are up at pick number 22. And that's Merez Johnson and Yaxel Landenberg. These guys would be, either one would be perfect for the Sixers team. Not just because they fit, obviously, with the Maxey and VJ Edgecombe timeline, which is the most important thing at this point, but it does also thread the needle of being able to play with Joel Embiid and Paul George. Yaxel is pretty self-explanatory. He's a guy that I feel like can do a lot of things at an average or above average level, a jack of all trades, master of none, but is versatile, can play the three, can play the four, can switch like Michigan did a lot. Merez Johnson, a guy who's uber athletic, will rebound the hell out of the ball. I know the rebounding numbers don't look particularly as good, but if you just look at the film and see the fact that Merez and Yaxel played with each other along with Adai Mara, there was really not a lot of rebounds to be had to make your numbers look gaudy. All you have to do is just watch them to see that they're impactful rebounders, defenders. Merez Johnson has a little bit of shooting upside, which I like. Those are the only two players I'd ever consider trading up for. Now, what's trading up mean? I would put protections on the 2028 Clippers pick, depending on what protections you can get away with, or the Clippers swap that's coming up in 2029. I believe that's when the swap is. That's the only time I would consider trading up for a player in this draft, because that addresses the Sixers' most pressing need. But in the event that they don't trade up, which I don't expect them to, nor do I want them to burn any Clippers picks or other assets at this point, this is my run to the podium tier. Players that, looking at all the mock drafts, reading all the stuff from the draft experts, whether it be Sam Vecini, no ceilings, etc., players that would fall to the Sixers around the late teens, early 20s, that I personally have higher on my big board, where I say, sprint to the fucking podium if this player falls to you. And that's Dalen Swain, LeBaron Philon, and Cameron Carr. I absolutely love Dalen Swain. I know there are periods throughout games where he could fade into the background, but the wing size with the handle and being able to get to the rim is just so tantalizing. He would be dynamite in transition next to VJ and Maxey. VJ and Maxey need somebody that could create for themselves and be able to accentuate their off-ball talents, which is what Maxey talked about after the Knicks series, getting back to playing more off the ball. VJ also being able to capitalize off of the rim pressure that someone like a Dalen Swain could provide. And I think he has a little bit of star upside. I'm not saying he has franchise-changing upside, but I definitely see some fringe all-star, maybe all-star level potential with Dalen Swain, given his handle and his ability to get to the rim. And I don't think the three-point shot is as broken as other people think. He shot 39% from three in the last 18 games of the college season. LeBaron Philon is also somebody that I think has real star upside. Just look at the offensive talent, the handle, the footwork, and I know he's tiny, but that motherfucker loves contact. He is able to do these pivots where he's fading away in the mid-range area. Kind of looks a little bit like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with some of those post-turnaround fadeaways. His handle is ridiculous, and I just have a feeling he'll compete on the defensive end, but more importantly, he fits really well off of Maxey and VJ. Now, it would hurt, obviously, because we just had another really good small guard in the wings, and we would be drafting another one with the pick in the trade of said small guard. But I like LeBaron Philon. Cameron Carr. It would be really funny if the Sixers righted the sins of not drafting any Villanova guys from basically 2017 to 2019 and basically draft all Baylor guys. I like Cameron Carr, 6'5", can shoot in any type of scenario, has the wingspan of a wing, and he's super athletic, plays hard. Defensively, there's some untapped upside there as well, and would just obviously fit really well next to VJ and Maxey. Then we got the oh hell yeah tier. I really like Zuby Ejiofor. Maybe others don't. I'm probably a little bit higher on him than consensus, but just somebody that plays fucking hard. Reminds me a little bit of B-Ball Paul, where he has a little bit of shit to his game and maybe he'll explore a little bit too much, but at least he has the confidence to pull off shit. He rebounds the hell out of the ball on the offensive end. Defensive rebounding is a little bit of a concern, admittedly, but somebody that I think could be a really special switch defender. And that's somebody where the Sixers can fill in the power forward need. If Zuby did drop back into the later part of the first round, like the late 20s, maybe around 28, 29, I would consider trading second round picks for him. So he could also go in the would trade seconds to pick again tier. But as a player, I like Zuby Ejiofor. I like how he competes. Has a little bit of playmaking to him too. And then Ibuka Okori. It's lazy to say that he reminds me of Tyrese Maxey, but he does remind me of a lot of rookie Maxey. Just lightning quick, can get to the paint, 35% from three. So I have to see how his off-ball three-point shooting goes, because There really wasn't a lot of opportunities to do that at Stanford, but I really like the talent play here, and I think there is a lot here, and he'd be effective in a guard rotation. Now, quickly, we're going to go to the very, very intrigued, but also very, very scared tier. Jaden Quaintance is a risk, but a risk I am willing to live with. If it's just the ACL and he doesn't have any other underlying knee problems, I don't know really what the hangup is if it's just an ACL. Those type of injuries in 2026 are easy to rehab from nowadays, but big hands, can dunk everything, and has special defensive potential. The only reason you don't take Jaden Quaintance is because you're scared of the medicals, and it is tough to talk Sixer fans into having a center that is having some knee issues. That's really it. Offensively, I really don't think he has that much upside outside of being just a screen and dive player, but who knows? He might have some untapped upside there. I can see the Robert Williams comparisons a little bit, but that dude can catch everything. I liked his tape at Arizona State. Allen Graves is a tricky one for me because he didn't really start at Santa Clara, but obviously the metrics look crazy, but he's 6'7", can shoot. I like the motor that he plays with, and I like the feel that he plays with, and that's really what I'm betting on, is the feel and the motor, and combining that together with his length and his size. And if he could do that and can credibly play the 3 and the 4, that's another type of forward that I am looking for when it comes to this Sixer team and its needs. Same thing with Joshua Jefferson. I have to know if the shot's real or if he could turn into an actual shooter, but I like the playmaking. I like the rebounding. What will he defend? Can he defend? Those are going to be the questions. Hannes Steinbach, I go back and forth with him. Great hands, rebounds everything in sight. I don't know ultimately if he's a 4 or a 5, and ultimately if he could play defense at either position, because I think that's going to be really important, especially if he's going to start at center. But offensively, there is some nice upside there. He could shoot. He has some post moves. He can catch the ball, which is probably the most important thing for the Sixer team when it comes to backup bigs, just having somebody with really good hands, because it's not just a Dembona that had shitty hands on this team. Andre Drummond's hands on the glass were just fucking awful, and Steinbach really is a remedy to that type of issue. But again, I don't know ultimately what his defensive upside will be, and that's something that really does terrify me, because if he's going to be the primary center, say he's a backup center to Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid misses, I'll be nice, say he misses 52 games or something like that, can Steinbach be like the primary backup big and can anchor a defense? And I have my doubts. Then we go to the neat tier. I like Bennett Sturts and Christian Anderson as shooters, kind of like in that McCain vein of off-ball shooting, can shoot in any type of scenario. Sturts, I think he has a little bit more point guard upside in terms of table setting and running plays. But now we're starting to get to the tiers where I'm getting not less and less excited, because I do like Sturts and Christian Anderson, as I mentioned. But now we are starting to waddle into the territory of the back end of the guards in this draft. Then we go to, it's fine. Isaiah Evans and Malik Thomas. Really, those two players will be underwhelming given the stakes with this pick and what it means for the roster building, and what it means for if this trade will be an outright disaster or salvageable. Then we go to the would trade second round picks to get back into the first round, or trade into the second round if these players fall that far. Henry Vasar and Terrace Reed. Vasar, that's just somebody we have all been looking for forever. A center with that skill set, a center that could stretch the floor. I know he shot like 65% from the line or something like that. I don't care about that really. He shoots 41% from 3, and I think the shot's fine, and I think he's going to end up being a good free throw shooter. Terrace Reed, he is just a solid big that I imagine is going to have a 10-plus year NBA career. Just somebody that runs the floor, will rebound, will dunk, will catch lobs, all that stuff. And now we move to the least favorite part of this tier, the hell not tier. Karim Lopez, I'm just out on. He can dribble a little bit and can maybe shoot, but he's slow. I don't want him handling the ball too much if he got drafted to the Sixers. Not only that, I don't trust them to put together projects. I don't trust the Sixers to put together projects, especially Nick Nurse. These guys would definitely not play under Nick Nurse if they were drafted, because they won't be able to do the things that, Nick Nurse wants them to do. So they're already going to be a year behind in their development, and they're probably going to have to try and succeed on a different team on a second contract. Chris Sinak, I am out on, with the caveat, if he doesn't change his game. Because if he changes his game and realizes that he is a dive big that should be playing physical, I'm interested. But if he doesn't and decides to keep playing soft with his measurables and fancies himself a jump shooter, I'm out. And then Koa Pete, he didn't even make my top 30, my personal top 30. I had him like 33. I'm out. Just completely out. He can't shoot, won't even look at the basket, and I don't think his defensive upside makes up for his lack of shooting. I don't think his connective passing and his winning mentality and being able to play power forward at 6'7" with a unique body, I don't think that makes up for the fact that he is going to be a complete zero offensively, because he can't shoot and won't shoot. And I could easily see him being played off the floor in the playoffs. And if you do develop him, I don't trust the Sixers to develop that shot. We've had plenty of guys here who can't shoot and won't shoot, and I just want to stay so far away from that. Guys that I respect, like Sam Vecini, I know is very high on him, and there's a case to be had with some of the strengths of Koa Pete, but can he even shoot for his strengths to matter? And I wager no. So, nope, out completely. He's been mocked to the Sixers a lot, and if the Sixers draft him, I will fucking puke violently. I'm sure he's a good kid, has an athletic family lineage, but I am out.